Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Bet Sunday Race of the Day. The race of the day for March 25th is an important Kentucky Derby prep at Sunland Park. It's the Grade 3 $800,000 Sunland Derby, and if you sign up for a new DRF Bets account, you'll be rewarded with a $150 bonus. Just go to drf.com/join and knock in the promo code TV150. Let's take a look at this field of Kentucky Derby hopefuls hoping to take that next step to Louisville. You can access free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page on drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take this field in post position order. And Mike, really distance could be the main determining factor in this race. Only one horse in the field has previously tried the 1 1/8. That was Choo Choo over a synthetic surface. All Out Blitz, the number 1, is 4-1 on the morning line and is stretching way out.
Yeah, not only does he have to prove that he can go this far, but there's plenty of other pace in this race for him to deal with. I like that he's drawn to the rail here, and he does have speed. I'll expect him to make the front as they head to the first turn in this race because he is a fast horse. But boy, it feels like there's going to be a lot of pressure coming for him, and I don't know how far he really wants to go. I thought his sham, the only time he went 2 turns with him, I thought that effort was fine. I also think he might have to do better than that to win this race.
Yeah, no match for McKenzie that day.
Yeah.
And certainly McKenzie's a better horse than All Out Blitz, but he did finish ahead of My Boy Jack, who came back from that race to win the Southwest. And last time out in the San Vicente, that was just a very fast pace he was chasing.
Yeah, too fast pace for him.
The 2 is Dark Vader, and Dark Vader's paired up Beyer tops in his last 2 races. Last time out in the Robert B. Lewis Stakes, a lot of folks thought Inside was the place to be, Speed was the place to be, Lombo went to the front, wired the field, Ayakara rode the rail for second. True. Dark Vader saved ground early, then tried to split horses on the backstretch, and he finished okay. It looks like he's sort of improving, but he's another probably has to do a little better.
He does have to do a little better. He did get wired last time. I know that Ayakara, he was pretty good, by the way, did come up the inside. I would have liked to have seen this horse at least hold on for second in there, considering the trip that he got. His win 2 back, he just barely got there. He's a little slow on the way in here, but he might land into a really nice trip in this race.
The number 3, New York Central, has really done nothing wrong from 4 lifetime starts. He is a son of Tappet, that once sold for $750,000. Last time out at Oaklawn, involved in a race-long duel, but that was over a muddy track. A lot of folks thought the Inside was good, and that's where New York Central was.
Yeah, he rode the rail the entire way, got a really good trip and ride in that race. He did outfinish a pretty good horse, I think, in Transgress. After that horse sort of felt like he had him put away about mid-stretch, this horse was able to battle back. I think being on the rail probably had something to do with that. But listen, his last 3 races are all pretty good, and it feels like he's headed the right way.
Hollywood Star has some credentials for Dale Romans. That's the number 4, 6-1 on the morning line. He has already multiple graded stakes placed. In his first start of the year, the Sam F. Davis, he really didn't catch a race with much pace, and I wonder if Romans was just using that race as a building block, because as we see from this formulator fact, Dale does very well second off the layoff with these 3-year-old dirt routers in graded stakes, 29% and a big ROI. Your thoughts on the Sam F. Davis? I know you're a big fan of Catholic Boy, and Flame Away came back to run well in the Tampa Bay Derby.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Flame Away did sort of flatter that race at least a little bit. We'll see what happens. The thing with Hollywood Star is obviously he has to improve to win this race. He's just a little bit slow on the way in, but he did keep good company last year, and I did think his Breeders' Cup Juvenile, I guess it was at least a little underrated considering he was down on the rail the entire way, which is not where you wanted to be. They took him back to last in the Sam Davis, and that just wasn't going to work in that race. He got tired at the end. It felt to me like he probably needed that race. So we'll see if he can take the step forward in this race, because he does have to take a step forward.
But he's going to get the right setup, I think, because he's a mid-pack horse that would benefit from some pace. Flame Away came back to earn a 92 Beyer in the Tampa Bay Derby. Peace is the number 5, and you won't fault Peace for his most recent performance, 7 lengths in arrears of McKenzie and Bolt d'Oro. That arguably the most impressive Derby prep thus far, the Grade 2 San Felipe, and Peace was just at the back of the pack, finished evenly along the inside. Getting some class relief here. You could argue 2 back in the Lewis. He was way on the outside on the backstretch on a day where the rail was good, so I won't hold that race against him. He has a couple of fast races. He's going to get the right pace setup, but something tells me he gets bet off that 12-1.
I think you're going to take a shorter price in that, considering the connections and where he's coming from and who he just ran against and the 2 big figures that he has on his page. I feel like I could have gone either way on him. I feel like he's going to take a lot of money in this race, and that's why I didn't go with him in this race. But the thing that bothers me more than anything else, he has an 88 and a 90 showing. That win when he broke his maiden 3 starts back, I just didn't care for that performance from him. The race didn't come back that fast. I don't know. I just didn't really want to take him at some kind of short price just because he ran against good horses last time.
Shane Zane, the number 6, no match for New York Central last time out over that wet track at Oaklawn Park. He didn't break very well. And this is a horse that did his best running 2 starts back when allowed to get right up close to the pace.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure that running style would work here.
Yeah, that's the real problem with this horse. It does feel like his best race was when they sent him and he made the pace in that race and he just held on at the end. I don't think that trip's really available to him in here. There's a lot of other speed in this race.
In Prince Lucky's only 2-turn try to date, the Grade 3 LeCompte was saddled with a very tough outside post position. He really couldn't gain good position going into the first turn, and then he was kind of flat. Now he's with Todd Pletcher. Do you think, though, that he's kind of more of a 7-furlong, 1-turn mile horse at this point?
Well, he's certainly got to prove that he can go long, and maybe he'll do it in this race. I don't think you want to hold the LeCompte against him too much. I mean, there was so much working against him in that race that I don't think you want to, not give him another chance in a race like this. The problem is he's 6-1 on the. I mean, would you take 6-1 on this horse in this race? I just don't feel like that's a very fair price. And because it's Pletcher and Velasquez, you're probably just going to take the worst of it with
7
this horse.
Trumpet's going to make the 3rd start of the form cycle, and both races this year have come over wet tracks. Now, it looked like he handled the wet track just fine in the Jerome, and I just couldn't find the excuse other than Firenze Fire's a better horse because he just set the slowest pace possible, had an easy lead turning into the stretch, and then was just run down late. As for the Southwest, wet track, inside perhaps the place to be. I won't hold that race against him, but if he couldn't win the Jerome going a 1-turn mile with that setup, how is he going to stretch out and win this race?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I just can't get past that Jerome. And, as much as I respect Firenze Fire, who is a good horse, I mean, if you're 7 Trumpets and you're going to tell me that you're going to, keep going on the Derby track, you got to win that race. I mean, he was loose on the slowest of paces and still couldn't hold on.
Choo Choo's the horse that has already gone 1 1/8. That was last time out in the El Camino Real Derby. And all things considering, that was a pretty fast pace that he was chasing. And he had every reason to get just a little bit tired. Jerry Hollendorfer's taking the blinkers off. I think they get this horse to settle in the early portion of the race. Probably a good move because there is likely to be another hot pace, but I have no idea if he could run on dirt or not.
Yeah, that's the real problem with him. I mean, you just have to sort of decide if you feel like he's going to be able to improve on dirt as he switches back over this race. If you think he can do it, he's probably going to be a relatively square price in this race. And I don't really feel like he's a horse who needs to be right up on the lead. Maybe he falls into the right trip in here. I just couldn't talk myself into him as a dirt horse.
I think an outsider with a chance here is the 10 Dream Baby Dream for Asmussen. I like the way he won his 2-year-old finale. I know that race was at 7 furlongs, and he has yet to win around 2 turns in his 3 starts this year. One race was against Bravazzo. Last time out again over that muddy, perhaps inside favoring track at Oaklawn on February the 19th. The blinkers come on. He's going to get the right pace set up. I have a feeling this horse is going to outrun his odds.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's one of the longer prices that I definitely want to use in this race for all the reasons that you just mentioned. And he really did take the worst of it last time in that allowance race on the muddy track.
Let's talk about Runaway Ghost. Let's talk about the Timeform US pace projector. We mentioned the race will be fast. The red bar from Timeform US indicates they agree with our assessment. They have the 11 Runaway Ghost out there, perhaps outfooting the horse down towards the rail, all-out blitz. Now, Runaway Ghost, it looked like set a pretty fast pace last time out as the 2-5 favorite in the Mind That Bird Derby, and it appears the horse that ran him down re-rides pretty good because he's going to Dubai next week in the UAE Derby. That being said, 2 starts back in the Riley Allison, he kind of got away with a nice easy lead. I'm not sure what kind of horse Runaway Ghost is, but he's fast, he's going to have to deal with pressure, he's going to have to deal with 1 1/8.
He's got a lot to prove in this race, that's for sure, but it's not like there's anything to really knock about his overall form. His races are pretty good. I like that, it's sort of a home court advantage for this horse, and he's got 2 fast figures on the way in. We'll just see what kind of trip he can get from post 11 with all the other speed to his inside. How much does that work against this horse, whose last 2 races are pretty good?
Fortified effort in Arizona bred reeled off 3 consecutive victories to close out his 2-year-old campaign sprinting. He has yet to win around 2 turns, although he caught a hot horse most recently. That horse has won 5 out of his last 6 races, including his most recent start on turf with a 78 Beyer speed figure. But this is just a tough outside post against better horses.
Yeah, I mean, he's just slow on the way in. He's got a terrible post position, and he's a horse who likes to race forward with other speed in the race.
Fun race. The favorite could be at 7-2, 4-1. I wouldn't be surprised at all at post time. Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 3 Sunland Derby. You like Hollywood Star, the Formulator Factor, second off the layoff for Romans, and should get a much better pace situation than he did in the Sam F. Davis.
Yeah, just hoping that he can improve here second off the layoff.
You're going 4, 5, 11, and 10. I'm going to go with Peace. I just think the drop in class is going to help. I think the pace situation is going to help, and I know he's capable of running that fast race. Let's hope that Peace, they've always been high on him, can finally achieve his potential. I'm going to go 5, 11, 10, and 3 in the Grade 3 Sunland Derby. Again, if you're playing from home, please consider DRF Bets. $150 sign-up bonus is yours. Just go to drf.com/join, sign up for a new DRF Bets account, and type in the promo code TV150. Sunday's race of the day, the Grade 3 Sunland Derby, has an approximate post of 5:15 Mountain. Good luck.